The rise of an ambitious mind. The journey of Kenneth Lay from humble beginnings to corporate stardom reads like a captivating American dream story. Born in 1942 in Missouri to a farming family, his extraordinary intelligence and insatiable curiosity about business set him apart from an early age. Picture this, a young farm boy who dreamed not just of success, but of revolutionizing the entire energy sector. His path to success was not handed to him on a silver platter. While studying economics at the University of Missouri, Lay worked various jobs to support himself, much like many students today juggling part-time work with studies. But unlike most, he harbored a vision that would later reshape the energy industry in ways no one could have imagined. What truly set Lay apart was his natural gift for influence and persuasion. Think of that friend who could sell ice to an Eskimo. That was Ken Lay in the corporate world. His ability to simplify complex ideas and connect with people on a personal level became his trademark, much like how Steve Jobs could make technology seem magical to the average person. The 1980s presented the perfect storm of opportunity for the ambitions of Lay. The energy sector was undergoing massive deregulation, opening doors for innovative approaches. It is like when the internet boom created space for companies like Amazon to redefine retail. Lay saw a similar opportunity in energy trading. When Enron emerged in 1985 from a merger of two natural gas companies, Lay did not just want to create another energy company. He envisioned building the most innovative and influential energy corporation in the world. Think of it as the Apple of the energy sector, revolutionary, trend-setting, and seemingly unstoppable. His leadership style was magnetic. Like a master conductor, Lay orchestrated the transformation of Enron from a traditional energy company into what appeared to be a powerhouse of innovation. He attracted the brightest minds in business, promising them not just jobs, but a chance to be part of something historic. The early success was intoxicating. Under the guidance of Lay, Enron began experimenting with new ways of trading energy, similar to how modern financial technology companies are revolutionizing banking. The market watched in awe as the stock of Enron soared and its influence grew. The innovative schemes and financial illusions of the 1990s saw Enron transform into a symbol of financial innovation under the leadership of Ken Lay. His team developed groundbreaking accounting practices that promised to maximize profits and attract investors. The most notable was the use of special-purpose entities, which allowed the company to conceal debts and inflate profits. Jeffrey Skilling, who shared the bold vision of Lay, introduced mark-to-market accounting, enabling Enron to record future profits from long-term contracts as immediate revenue. This created a mesmerizing illusion of prosperity that enchanted investors and analysts, though the actual profits remained uncertain. The diversification of Enron was equally impressive under the command of Lay. The company ventured into broadband markets, energy trading, and even carbon emission quotas. While these initiatives reinforced their image as an innovative powerhouse, many failed to generate expected returns. Lay masterfully played the game of appearances. His connections with powerful politicians like George W. Bush strengthened the market position of Enron. His charisma and ability to navigate political backrooms made him seem untouchable, though this proximity to power would later prove dangerous. Inside Enron, the environment grew increasingly toxic. The pressure for results was immense, and corporate culture encouraged extreme risk-taking and manipulation. Many employees felt compelled to participate in the scheme to keep their jobs and impress senior executives. Despite warning signs, the apparent profits of Enron continued climbing. Stock prices reached historic highs, making Ken Lay one of the wealthiest and most influential figures in America. He received constant praise as a business genius who was redefining market rules. The combination of obscure financial practices and constant pressure for results created a perfect storm. Yet while everything seemed under control, Lay continued projecting confidence. The future still looked bright to him, though one might wonder if such an intelligent man truly could not see the approaching disaster. The collapse begins. The late 1990s marked the beginning of the downfall of Enron, though few could see it clearly at first. Small inconsistencies in financial reports raised red flags among astute analysts, but these concerns were often drowned out by the impressive growth numbers of the company and the unwavering confidence of Ken Lay in public appearances. Inside the walls of Enron, the special-purpose entities that once seemed like brilliant financial tools became a source of mounting tension. The hidden debt grew to astronomical levels, and some operations began failing spectacularly. Despite these warning signs, Ken Lay and Jeffrey Skilling chose to maintain their course, perhaps hoping that new ventures would offset the mounting losses. Market confidence began to waver as experienced investors started selling their shares, noticing that the numbers simply did not add up. This initial skepticism was like a hairline crack in a dam about to burst. Lay responded by intensifying his public relations efforts, leveraging his charisma to reassure stakeholders that Enron remained on solid ground. The unexpected resignation of Chief Executive Officer Jeffrey Skilling in 2001 sent shockwaves through the market. His departure, citing personal reasons, was widely interpreted as a clear sign of internal troubles. The return of Ken Lay to the Chief Executive Officer position failed to calm growing fears about the stability of Enron. The media spotlight intensified as investigative journalists began digging deeper into the operations of Enron. Detailed reports started unraveling the complexity of the financial schemes used to hide losses. Yet Lay maintained his stance of confidence, dismissing any allegations of wrongdoing. Employees began experiencing mounting anxiety as internal questions about decisions grew louder. The culture of extreme competition and secrecy that had once fueled the success of Enron now contributed to its instability. Many workers feared for their jobs and retirement savings, which were heavily invested in company stock. The pressure from regulators and investors for greater transparency increased daily. Ken Lay continued to rely on his political connections and influence to maintain support, but the financial reality was becoming impossible to ignore. Each new day brought fresh revelations of troubling practices, and the financial situation of the company deteriorated rapidly. The final chapter, the death of Ken Lay in 2006, marked the end of a trajectory filled with achievements, controversies, and mysteries. His legacy remains complex and polarizing, with some viewing him as a visionary who transformed the energy sector, while others remember him as the face of unchecked corporate greed that led thousands to financial ruin. The collapse of Enron extended far beyond the boundaries of the company. Thousands of investors, including ordinary people who trusted their savings to the market, lost everything. Employees watched their careers and pension funds evaporate overnight. These human losses became the most painful aspect of the scandal, a constant reminder that the ambition of a few can devastate many lives. In the corporate sector, the fall of Enron catalyzed reforms. The Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002 emerged as an attempt to restore market confidence by imposing stricter transparency and accountability rules on corporations. The name of Lay became synonymous with the practices this law sought to combat, his influence shaping the future of corporate governance even in infamy. Beyond business, the story of Lay raised profound questions about ethics and leadership. His intelligence and charisma allowed him to build an empire, but these same qualities enabled him to perpetuate one of the largest corporate frauds in history. This paradox continues to inspire books, documentaries, and studies about the corrupting influence of power. Interestingly, Lay still has defenders who believe he fell victim to a flawed system. These rare voices argue he was a genius who dared to innovate in a change-resistant environment. Such opinions demonstrate the complexity of the story of Lay, extraordinary in vision yet deeply flawed in ethics. The Enron scandal opened the eyes of the world to the realities of unchecked capitalism. Today, the name of Lay appears in economics and business classrooms not as a role model but as a cautionary tale. His legacy, though controversial, continues to influence our understanding of corporate responsibility. The cultural impact of the Enron scandal transcended the corporate world. Books, films, and documentaries began exploring the mystery behind one of the largest frauds in history. These works revealed the dark side of success, showing how innovative practices can become destructive weapons when driven by greed. The cultural legacy: the Enron scandal transcended the corporate world, becoming a powerful cultural phenomenon that continues to influence society. Books, films, and documentaries began exploring the scandal, with works like Enron, the smartest guys in the room, revealing how innovative business practices can become destructive when driven by unchecked ambition. The story of Ken Lay became a cautionary tale used in business schools worldwide. His journey from a brilliant visionary to a symbol of corporate excess serves as a powerful teaching tool about leadership and ethics. The case study demonstrates how intelligence without integrity can lead to catastrophic results. The scandal fundamentally changed public perception of large corporations. Trust, once given freely, was replaced by widespread skepticism. The name of Enron became synonymous with corporate deception, showing how glossy numbers and persuasive speeches can mask deeply problematic practices. The relationship between politics and business came under intense scrutiny following the scandal. The powerful political connections of Lay, particularly with President George W. Bush, highlighted the dangerous intersection of corporate and government interests. This revelation sparked important discussions about maintaining appropriate boundaries between public and private sectors. A positive outcome emerged from the tragedy: a global movement toward greater business transparency. Organizations began adopting more responsible practices, fearing a similar fate to Enron. The story of Lay became a mirror for chief executive officers and business leaders, reminding them that success must be built on solid foundations. The human impact of the scandal remains its most sobering aspect. Thousands of employees lost not just their jobs but their life savings and pensions. These personal tragedies serve as a powerful reminder that corporate decisions have real-world consequences that extend far beyond balance sheets. The cultural impact continues to resonate through various forms of media and academic study. The story raises persistent questions about human nature, ambition, and the true meaning of success in the business world. The modern impact: the Enron scandal continues to influence modern business practices and corporate governance. Today, companies face heightened scrutiny of their financial practices, with regulatory bodies implementing stricter oversight measures to prevent similar catastrophes. The ghost of the decisions of Ken Lay still haunts boardrooms across America. The scandal fundamentally transformed how businesses approach risk management and financial reporting. Companies now invest heavily in compliance departments and internal controls, recognizing that transparency is not just a buzzword but a crucial element of sustainable success. Modern executives understand that creative accounting practices can lead to devastating consequences. Technology has made financial oversight more sophisticated since the Enron days. Advanced algorithms and artificial intelligence systems now monitor transactions for irregularities, making it harder to hide fraudulent activities. These tools would have likely detected the red flags in the operations of Enron much earlier. The academic world continues to study the Enron case, using it to educate future business leaders. Master of Business Administration programs worldwide incorporate lessons from the scandal into their ethics curricula, ensuring that tomorrow executives understand the importance of ethical leadership and transparent governance. Social media and instant information sharing have made corporate misconduct harder to conceal. Today, whistleblowers have multiple platforms to expose wrongdoing, and information spreads globally within minutes. This transparency would have made the schemes of Enron much more difficult to maintain in the current era. The relationship between corporations and political power faces greater scrutiny post-Enron. Modern companies must carefully navigate their political connections, as the public and media are quick to question any signs of improper influence or favoritism. The human element of corporate scandals remains relevant today. While systems and regulations have improved, the fundamental challenge of balancing ambition with ethics continues to test corporate leaders and organizations.